Hi everybody, today is day 10 on my 21-day challenge where I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and learning to overcome my fear of making videos. And I must say that after 9 videos and all the number of times I had to delete things, I'm feeling quite comfortable with it. Still a little nervous, but I'm getting better. So thank you for helping me with this challenge. Today I want to talk to you about divine feminine power. Our divine feminine power embraces both the masculine and the feminine power, and I get that. And I'm not going to even talk about the science of it. It's something we all have. It's something that makes us very different from men, and it's not, God love men, but I'm talking about women now. Where does it come from, and how did we lose it, and how do we go about getting it back? Like, we're spending now more than ever, you find women are increasingly trying to engage this power. They're realizing that this thing is inside of them, and it's an incredible energy that they can't deny anymore. And when we get there and we're building and we're growing, how are we protecting that as we go along? So that's what I want to talk to you about today. I'm going to get personal. I'm going to explain something to you. For me, I believe that this divine feminine power that we have, this energy, it's like something natural in our human world. It takes its claws and it squeezes this energy just until there's enough room for it to just breathe. And that's where it stays until we find that it's time to take care of that and move forward and get, embrace it and allow that power to come out of us and be the feminine women that we are. Dalai Lama said that the world will be saved by women from the West, a Western woman. And I think that what he's saying, in my interpretation, is that women are going to come together and use their feminine power, their divine feminine power, and their ability to nurture, and they're going to make a difference. I think that it's Western philosophy, and more so than it is women that come from, the West. It doesn't mean you have to be a United States citizen. You could be from Australia. But I believe that it is this Western way of thinking that is going to make the difference. It's going to provide peace in our world. But where did it start getting squished that we couldn't breathe? We could just barely breathe with it. For me, I'm going to tell you, I was the only girl in my family growing up. I grew up in a house with my mother, my father, my younger brother, and myself. I also have 4 other brothers, all half brothers. 3 of them are in the United States, and 1 came from Europe, whom I never met until much, much, much later in my life. But growing up in my home, Mom was never there. I don't want to get into that drama. That's a whole other thing. But I automatically embraced the role of being the mother and the nurturing and the taking care of in the family. My father was a wonderful human being, but he had his way of thinking, which I now am not conducive with, but that's fine. He believed that it was a woman's role to do the cooking, to do the cleaning and all of these things. And eventually, he would do it, but he would resent it. So I took on this role. I was Daddy's little girl, and it was an amazing gift to be Daddy's little girl. I don't regret that at all. I still love that man the way I did when I was a little girl. But something about that started the process of me looking at men in a way that I had to do something to please them. And when something upset them, it was my responsibility to find a way to fix that so that they were happy. And I took this notion with me throughout my whole life, which I don't really have anymore. But, it was a very challenging thing to do. Where did that start? I believe it started with the Daddy's little girl thing. I loved being Daddy's little girl. But I remembered after thinking about it today, about an incident that happened when I was about 12 or 13 years old, maybe even 14. Mom was never to be found. And once in a while she would show up for dinner, but it was my responsibility to make sure that we made dinner. And I remember making salads and stuff like that because I wanted to do something where it was presentable and it was healthy and, it looked like I had to put a lot of work into it so that I was providing something that I was nurturing because I was Daddy's little girl and I didn't want to disappoint him. But he was disappointed. He didn't like his dinner. I got very upset. Very upset. And I remember now that moment was when I said, absolutely not. This is not my role. I'm not the mother of this household. And I get to embrace who I am and grow to someday being that person, but I'm not that person now. I still took over the role because Mom was never there, but I took it over in a different way. And as I grew up, I realized that that was a changing moment in my life. I still today cook for my husband, and really because he shouldn't be cooking. He can, but not in my world. So I do the cooking in the house. He's very, very supportive in many other ways, so I don't mind doing that. I love cooking. And I still catch myself 2 to 3 times a week going, what do you think of it? Is it okay? You know, and in a way, it's a loving thing. I want him to be happy. You know, I enjoy cooking. I want you to be happy. But it still brings me back to that moment. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because that moment is frozen in time. And I remember standing up for myself as something that I had nothing to do with, that was more or less strangled inside of me naturally and innocently. And now I get the chance to embrace that and engage with that. I believe that the best way for this to happen, where we are encouraging and embracing this energy and empowering ourselves to be the gentle, gracious souls that we are, is by coming together as like a pack. We all have something to offer. Collaborating makes it a wonderful experience so that we can feed off of each other about what is good for us and what is not good for us. It may be good for you, it might not be good for me. But coming together is going to bring that power that the Dalai Lama was talking about. So I am going to invite you for lunch. I'm having a free webinar, of course, on Monday, the 23rd, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And come and join me. Bring a sandwich, bring a bowl of soup, a salad, or just a tea or a coffee or whatever. Let's sit and chat about what it is that we do to protect our feminine energy. There's so much that we do to embrace it, but what do we do to take care of it? I'd love to hear back from you guys on this subject matter because, you know, I too am growing and I'm learning, and I'm sure that there's something that you have to offer me. So I'm going to put the link in the bottom in the comments of this video. And thank you for joining me today. It was a good time, and tomorrow I'll see you again on day 11. All my love.